Welcome to the ultimate fishing collection. This is not just a normal fishing scene, it is a thrilling confrontation between humans and underwater monsters. From the windy sea to the calm rivers and lakes, from the dangerous rocky shores to the uncompromising jumps into the water, all for the same passion, fishing. Let's explore the thrilling, interesting, and not lacking moments of swimming against the current in today's video. Before the eye-catching pulls comes an extremely important step: hooking the bait. Each movement is meticulous and careful like an artist, because if there is just a slight deviation, the fish may not even pay attention. On one side is a float, on the other side is a lead, all ready for the journey under the water. Simple but full of tactics, that is the art of the fisherman. The float had barely touched the water. Then boom! The sudden bite sent a splash across the water. Without a second of hesitation, the girl immediately reacted with a decisive jerk of the rod. The rod curved sharply, signaling that there was a formidable opponent below. The battle began. Tension rose with every movement of the fishing line. Who would be the winner? The pull was so strong that the girl almost lost control. The rod was bent like a crescent moon, the line was as taut as a guitar string, and then, thud! Unable to keep her balance, she fell into the water, but her eyes never left the struggling prize on the other side. It was true, the fish has not yet come up, but the person has already gone down. A truly thrilling battle. And then, a huge shadow began to appear under the water. A huge fish was slowly giving in. The girl quickly took advantage of the golden moment, pulling hard, eyes shining, hands raised high with the achievement. This moment was definitely the greatest joy of the day. Back to the beautiful and experienced girl this time. The bait is not worms or flour, but a piece of fresh squid. The bait is carefully threaded through the hook firmly, neatly, leaving no room for suspicion. The small hand but extremely decisive action shows that this is not the first time she has faced the monsters of the deep sea. Once the bait is hooked, it's time to drop it into the deep water. The bait slowly falls, sinking into the vast blue water where predators lurk at the bottom of the sea. The rod began to vibrate, the familiar sign that the bait had taken. The girl reacted quickly, holding the rod firmly and starting to reel in the fish with full concentration. Each turn of the handle was a tense beat. The fish was gradually approaching the surface. And finally, after a long struggle in the deep water, the prize appeared. A decisive jerk brought the colorful fish out of the water, hanging suspended on the rod as an affirmation of victory. The girl's face was radiant. Her smile was radiant, because there is nothing more joyful than the feeling of conquering the ocean with your own hands. A perfect catch, from the technique, the patience to the result. The rod is bent to the limit. The line looks like it could snap at any moment. This is definitely a big fish. This shirtless guy is using all his strength to maintain the initiative. Not a moment of hesitation. If he were to slow down a bit, the fish could escape the hook and disappear into the vast ocean. The battle between man and fish has just begun. Look! A large, blurry shadow is gradually appearing under the water. The giant fish is approaching the boat. As soon as it sees the light, it immediately struggles violently, creating white splashes. The tail fin is wagging as if it wants to break the fishing line. This is the decisive moment, keeping or losing. Only a matter of seconds. And here it is, a giant fish. The muscular body, the scales glistening in the sunlight, quietly drifting right next to the boat like a warrior who has just been defeated. The efforts, the sweat, the strength, all of it now paid off with a spectacular catch. This is more than just a catch, this is a miracle in the middle of the ocean. In the midst of a wild natural landscape, a girl gently walks on rugged rocks holding a fishing rod in her hand, her eyes looking towards the deep ocean. No noise, no rush, just the murmur of waves and a silent passion for the ocean. Today's journey begins here, where only humans and nature face each other in a wordless challenge. Chain si vidar p, k chiang change si gi nen cheng vung cn vn mi thang ra xa gia ben tries in the. Suddenly, the rod bent sharply. A strong pull from below made the girl immediately ready. Standing precariously on the sharp rocks, she put all her strength into each pull. The fish took the bait, and now it was a ruthless confrontation between the fisherman and the wild nature. And, boom! A powerful jerk, the fish flew out of the water, launching itself into the air like a living arrow. The girl smiled brightly. A beautiful reef fish with beautiful colors. The atmosphere on the deck was hotter than ever. Every person, every fishing rod was busy with intense pulling. Silver fish were continuously pulled up from the waves, splashing water amidst the fierce waves. This was not just fishing, this was a real battle between man and the ocean, where experience, strength and coordination were all put to the test. The pulling rhythm was relentless. As soon as the fish came up, the rod was pulled again. A big day in the open sea. And lo, a decisive pull, the giant fish soared out of the water, turning and glistening in the sunlight in the middle of the ocean. Each powerful pull, each calloused hand, the result of hours of struggling with the wind and waves and the powerful fish. Each time the fish was tossed up, it was no different from a feat, human strength against the vast ocean. This is the vibrant rhythm of a fishing boat in the open sea, where there is no room for hesitation. A fresh morning in the middle of the wild nature, a young girl appeared with a specialized fishing gear, her eyes calm but full of concentration. No noise, no rush, just the sound of the forest wind, the sound of the stream flowing, and the gentle beat of passion. With a skillful swing of the arm, the fishing line gently glided through the air and landed right at the rapids where the stream fish were hiding. And lo, in the middle of the clear stream, a flash of movement, the buoy shook slightly, and then, the first fish was hooked. After a skillful move, the girl quickly used the net to bring the prize to the shore. Her face was radiant, her eyes lit up with joy. This was not just a successful catch, but a moment marking the beginning of a promising journey. Not stopping at the first victory, the girl continued her journey along the winding stream, the second casting once again sowing hope in the midst of the surprisingly clear flow. Not long after the second cast, the rod began to vibrate gently again, then suddenly it tensed like a guitar string. Her hand gripping the handle firmly, the girl gently handled each jerk with experience and skill. Another fish was in the net. After the emotional pulls, the girl quietly prepares for the next drop. A bamboo rod with a rustic wooden shell. The tip of the rod is tightly tied with the simulated insect bait, delicate and lifelike. The line gently glides down the water. The float drifts gently in the middle of the stream, a perfect drop. Simple, but full of strategy. A slight flash, then a strong tug on the line signaling the approach of a special guest. After a few tense seconds and a perfect tackle, she gently brought her prize into the net, and there was a beautiful rainbow trout, its silvery pink hue standing out against the water. If you find the video interesting, remember to like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next extremely interesting fishing scenes. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.